fires, storms, you get hit by a bus. What happens to your business? Let's talk about that. Welcome to the WorkHARDAholic Show with your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Hello, and welcome back to WorkHARDaholics. This is Shirley Crawford, your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, and today, for those of you who live in the Richmond, Virginia metropolitan area, actually, if you live anywhere on the East Coast of the United States, then you know we just had another tropical storm. We've been having hurricanes, lions and tigers and bears. Bears, really, have been running around the streets of Virginia. I just want to point that out. We're not joking about that either. So here's the thing. We know for your home, if you are in Florida, you always know that you prepare for flooding. You prepare for hurricanes because they happen every year. You know, if you live in California, you're prepared for earthquakes. But if you're a business owner, no matter where you are geographically, are you prepared for emergencies? We often talk about financial emergencies, right? We have Lawrence on the show. We talk about financial planning and things you should do in case something, of your demise. But what about for your business? This baby that you birthed, that you took to the next level, that you've elevated, you've worked at, can be gone in the snap of a second. What's your game plan? What's your response? So especially this weekend, as I sat in my home all of Saturday, just listening to the wind blowing and rustling and knocking down trees, and thankfully not knocking out my power lines, I really was thinking about, again, it's been a while since we've talked about emergency preparedness for your business. So I want to do that because there's several different aspects to the things you should be looking out for your business. So we were just talking about the weather. Let's start there. Right? We know that there can be flooding, lightning, all kinds of things can happen. Fires, people in your building can be really brilliant and damage things and hurt themselves. How are you prepared for that? What's your response? And not only should you know the response, but if you have a partner, employees, staff, however you're putting that. If you have people in your facility, they should also know, how do we respond? I've been reflecting back in the day when I was in elementary, back at Mary Mumford Elementary School. Yep, that's where I went to. We had these drills. Like, I remember running home because someone from the fire department came and they said, you should have a chart, a plan, a diagram. And so we drew it out. Here are the escape routes. I think that's also why I'm obsessed with windows. Like, my office must have a window. Not that I can break my glass to get out, but that's not the point. We had those drills, those diagrams. That's the type of preparation you should be having. So for your physical location, you should know a couple things. One, where is the safe space in your office, in your building? And if there isn't one, then where should your employees, where should you be congregating? Where should you go in case of, physical damage or issue that's happening to your building? So we know here, for example, that actually the floor that our office is on, right by the back door, is actually supposed to be our emergency preparation area. Do you all know that? Do you have radios available in case there's no electricity? How are you going to find out? I remember distinctly. So we've been here at the center for 5 years. 5 years. I recall distinctly on one occasion that there was a tornado, and it actually touched down 2 blocks from our office space. So totally damaged someone's sign and just twisted up this metal. So because we had asked those questions when we came in, we knew where the emergency location was, because it's not safe to go running outside in the midst of a hurricane. You'll be the next one, or a tornado, and you'll be the next one snatched up. Do you have a plan for that? So that's things we're talking about. So employee safety drills, know the safe space in your office and in your area. Have an actual physical emergency plan for your physical space. For those of you who have important documents and information. So oftentimes, like, we have a nonprofit. Collaboration. I have to often whip out that document whenever I'm dealing with anything otherwise I have to go back to the IRS. And let me tell you, it is an ordeal to get a copy. Those are the type of documents you can have in a fireproof safe. If not that, if you're going to put it into a safety deposit box at your bank, and people should know where those documents are. Do you have insurance? Keeping in mind that you can't get insurance for everything. Like in most areas, flood insurance, sometimes acts of God, acts of nature, are not covered. So then what's your game plan? Do you have that rainy day fund? That's when we go back to all those things that we talked about the money and saving up for that and being prepared. And what's really important is that a lot of us are sharing our data, right? We have all this information. I was thinking the other day how much I would love to be working from some remote location, but if it doesn't have internet, I can't do it. For most of us, that's the case for our businesses. Our data is like sacrosanct. We can't operate without knowing that information. So first we start off with the physical. Creating a physical emergency plan and then being able to share it with your team, share it with your employees. Everyone should know exactly what to do in case of an emergency. We often have, we used to have the floor monitor. There was always someone designated that they were supposed to know who was in the building and when they were out of the building, so that you can actually have accounts. There are processes you should go through. And honestly, it's not that complicated. If you need assistance, your local fire department is more than happy to come in and to do these trainings with you to help you figure out what's the plan. For those who don't know, I still remember from school, stop, drop, and roll in case you catch on fire. But also for your doors, smoke inhalation is the number one reason that people die in fires, not actually, the fire and the flame. You should have a plan for your business, because not only are you responsible for making sure that people get the right product and service, you're responsible for the safety of the people in your building, your team. You're also responsible to protect the data of the people that you deal with. So we're going to talk more about that. We're going to get more into it. We're going to keep you safe, keep your business running right after this commercial break.
Wouldn't it be convenient and safe to communicate with your dentist, pediatrician, medical doctor, or mental health professional anywhere you are without actually traveling to our medical centers?
Well, you can with a televisit at your local Capital Area Health Network. Call us at 780-0840 or
go to cahealthnet.org.
Find out how a televisit may be your best option. We are the Capital Area Health Network, the heart of the community.
Listen, attorney Alex Taylor is a soldier in a suit, defending anyone with criminal charges, DUIs, and more. Call Alex Taylor, your soldier in a suit, at 804-500-5000.
I'm Alex Taylor. Don't face your criminal charges alone. Put a former prosecutor with 30 years of experience on your side. Let me show you how a soldier fights for your freedom.
Call 804-500-5000 or go to alextaylorlaw.com.
Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. And coming up next, we have financial news you can use from Lawrence Roberts.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Roberts with financial news you can use. Today, I'm going to talk to you about your money. It's something different? No. It's about, if something were to happen to you, your parents already rented your room out. They already made that extra bedroom. They don't want you to come home. You are not welcome back at your parents' house. So, what are we going to do? If you could, what will happen to your family? Oh, by the way, you might even have a family right now. You have someone who's dependent upon you. So you know, Mom, Pa, Duke do not want you back at the house. That's not even an option. That thing of coming home and you always have a home, well, they lie. You have a home, you can visit. So, short story on that. If something were to happen to you, you and your family, what happened to your income, how would your family feel? How would you earn your income? That's what we're going to talk about. We need to protect your income because you still need to make your money, but there's a chance you could become disabled You could get into a car accident. You could get carpal tunnel. You could get any number of things. Who knows? A weird Ebola virus disease or something. Who knows? Something will inhibit you from continually to make your money. It will drastically affect your current financial lifestyle. Your wife, your spouse will be affected. Your children will be affected. Even if you don't have children, your future children will be affected. So, what is the best time to buy individual disability insurance? When you can't, if something were to happen to you, you need to protect your income, ideally while you're still healthy, so you can continue to protect your income. Let me tell you something, okay? First off, we're not going to depend on what your employer has. That's great. You have it through your employer. Awesome. Because you know what? Having it through your employer does not mean that you have it where you can leave that job and can be able to take it with you. I don't know about you, but I like control. I like being in control of my money. I like being in control of my finances. I like being to just having control. I don't care if it's that little bitty thing. Even if you're not that control freak person you might want to call me, you're still able to control your financial future. Because if you leave this job, which most cases we are, you're not going to stay at the same job for 30 years. Some days are over. Our grandparents did that. Our parents may have did that. So what do? You take this with you. As you make more money, you're able to protect more money. The difference, I'm going to give you a quick story on two families, okay? One family had individual disability insurance. The other didn't, okay? The one that had individual disability insurance, they was able to protect the family. The kids still continue to go into school. They didn't have to leave their home. Didn't have to change the lifestyle. All those different things happen. The one without it, different picture. You figure it out yourself there. Okay, short-term disability lasts for only 90 days. At the end of that 90 days, they had to try to figure it out. They weren't able to go back, still was not able to go back to work. Their financial picture was totally different. Student loans still kept coming in. They asked for forbearance and got it, put off for a little while. But you know what? The interest still kept going. Them student loans never went away. You can even protect your student loans. That's why I even bring that up, because as we talk about our federal government right now, the country we all love and admire and all the other good stuff there, and they've been trying to figure out how they're going to pay for your student loans. Well, I'm telling you how we're going to protect it, because you're still protecting your income. The most important asset you have is your ability to earn your income. That is why we need to protect that, because everything falls apart without you being able to earn your income. Not be able to earn your income, how does things fall apart? Your retirement planning, that trip, your vacations, just your whole lifestyle falls apart because you're not making the money that you was making originally. You're not able to contribute to your retirement. You're not able to pay your student loans that you was paying. Okay, what are you protecting? Real quick, these are the most important things you need to protect with individual disability insurance. Your rent or mortgage, utilities, and groceries. Again, I'm Lawrence Roberts. This is why we need to sit down and talk so we can learn so I can share with you how you can protect your income as you continue to make more. Again, I'm Lawrence Roberts. I look forward to talking to you. You can reach me at 804-746-3714. Thank you.
Welcome back. Okay, today we're not talking something sexy, we're talking safety. We're talking about how you can make sure that you're protecting your business so that it can have longevity in case of an emergency. We've worked too hard to have these businesses to be out here doing all these wonderful things to be brought down because of a data breach, because someone hacked your system, because there was an active shooter. There's so many things that can be happening in this day and age, and we want to make sure you're taking some time to think about them. So we just finished talking about physical things that can happen in your space. The importance of having an actual fire escape route or A map where people know and understand the safe places to go in your building in case of an emergency, that you have a game plan, that you have a way to take a track and attendance of who's in your building, where they are and where they're belonging, and making sure that everyone's safe. Like something as simple as knowing about smoke inhalation and how to prevent it, and the fact that you can reach out to your local fire department to get some assistance in creating that emergency preparation plan for your physical building. But that is not the end of the story. I want to talk a little bit about protecting your network, protecting your data, because this is the one that I don't know how many teenagers are out there who are just fascinated with, like, breaking into your system just to see if they can. I have been amazed to know I have talked to people who they hack, and that's their real fascination. Like, can I get into your system? Does anyone remember like LifeLock? Right. The whole idea was that it was a system that you could pay and it would protect your information on the dark web and otherwise. And the CEO was so confident that he put his own social security number onto the side of like trucks that ran through the country and was like, I dare you to try. Well, people tried and they cracked it. And so like he's been hacked multiple times. And so this is the nature of it, because there are people who find this very fascinating. So how are you protecting the data? And furthermore, is it really your business's responsibility to protect data? I feel like I should pause because I know the answer. You know the answer. We all know the answer. Yes. Right. So some of it is, moral obligation, but some of it is straight up legal. So we all know about HIPAA, right? So HIPAA are regulations if you're dealing with any type of medical information, medical documentation. And I feel like HIPAA came into play a lot with COVID because there were conversations on whether or not you could tell other employees that someone had got COVID, but then you had to share because just in case they had exposure, so some businesses just shut down for that whole 14 days quarantine period rather than having to deal with the fact of saying, hey, so-and-so had COVID. If you had exposure, then you need to do such and such. That's all part of HIPAA regulations. So understanding that for your business. But you know about HIPAA, but did you know that there is an entire set of rules and regulations for Europe? If you're dealing with anyone in a European country, then they have specific regulations for how you can deal with their information. It's called the GDPR. And so you're thinking, oh, well, I want to expand my business. So I have clients in Paris, which I love Paris, or some other location. There are specific regulations on how you can deal with their data. There's also spamming laws that are separate from the United States, but that's not what we're talking about. And then you're going, okay, well, I'm not dealing with anyone in Europe. I'm just dealing with people in the US. California also has their own set of protocols. California is always just a little bit ahead of the rest of the country. And so they have protocols about how you handle data. And so you're like, well, what am I saving that's so important, right? You have to make sure you're not sharing social security numbers. For those of you who are running security checks on people, there are rules and regulations about how you manage that. Like, how are people accessing your computers? Your computers are sitting out here, like right now, I'm not in my office. Someone could go in my office, although the door is locked. But that's the kind of thing you have to think about. If you're in cubicles or open space, your data is so wide open. And then not only is it possible for someone to physically come to your data, a lot of you are giving it away every day. We order on Amazon every 5 seconds. And then people are like, why do you use PayPal? I use PayPal because it's another security level for me putting in my credit card information or other things. I'm going to make it work a little bit harder. You can still crack it. Someone out there can do it. Never doubt it. But I'm going to make it as hard as possible. So in addition to the fact that you should be monitoring your data, your information, your banking statements, everything else, there's some other tips and tools that you should be doing to make sure you're protecting your data and protecting your network. One of my favorite, I love commercials. Commercials are amazing. There's new commercials, I think it's for Dell, but it's all about the fact that some employee working remotely is accessing the network printer. And so that allowed hackers to get into the system, which then allowed them access to the entire network. Have you looked at your network? Do you know your access points? Like sometimes I will just log onto the network here at the center just to see whose computer I can see. Because that's a setting that we all have to determine, can the network see me? Can I see the network? So I wanted to give you all a few tips. These tips in particular are from HBS, and there's some simple, effective tools for securing your data internally, right? So lock your computer when you get up from your desk. It's not even rocket science. Lock your computer. Lock any filing cabinets or drawers containing hard copies of data. Also, know your regulations on how long you have to keep data. You don't have to keep data for 20 years. Most data is 10 years, some is 7. It depends on the data itself. Know that and have your handy dandy shredder and get rid of it. Password protect database access. I know a lot of people love to use clouds. I'm still cloud leery with regards to security. I think it's far too easy to hack, far too easy to access, but it's so doggone convenient to dump that terabyte of information and know that you can use it from anywhere. But just know it comes with precautions that are necessary. Use a secure file transfer method, FTPs, use a protocol. When you're sharing data, like I love the fact that I have an iPhone and someone has an iPhone, I can send them pictures, but that does mean it's traveling from me to that person in the air, in the cloud. There's a potential of someone snatching that. So know where you are before you're sharing information. If you are at a local library, a bookstore, a restaurant, you really shouldn't be accessing your banking information. You really shouldn't be accessing any of that because you are so open to people gathering your information and using it in ways that you don't want them to. So think about that. Properly store physical copies of data. Don't leave them out. Right. So I talk, you property managers, you people who do real estate and you're getting people's social security numbers or for whatever reason, like you can't just leave that sitting on your desk or your table. You have to make sure you're protecting it because you could be liable. Don't message or talk about sensitive data with others unless you're in a secure private meeting room. I am always floored when I walk into a conversation in a really public area and people are talking about things that I know are either confidential, that they might even have an NDA for. Like, you're opening yourself up unnecessarily. Take the extra step, go behind a closed door, have the conversation you want to have, and work it out from there. So those are just a few steps talking about keeping your data safe. And so we have more. Don't you worry. We have a few more tips of things that we want to share with you as we have our safety day to talk about you and the emergency preparation for your business. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Hello, hello, hello. Shirley Crawford here, the original WorkHARDaholic and your host for the Diva Mastermind Retreat. This is going to be an exciting time to help you know your value, know your worth, to address the imposter syndrome, to also help you better understand your personal brand and your business brand. And all this is going to happen October 9th through the 14th in Duck, North Carolina. Want to know how you can participate? This is how. You can register. We can start off by visiting shirleycrawford.com. And then you can look for the link that says Diva Mastermind Retreat. Diva standing for doing it very authoritatively. We're not apologizing anymore. You are who you are. You are great and you're meant for greatness. So come and join us October 9th through the 14th in Duck, North Carolina. If you have signed up for the mastermind group, the retreat is free. Otherwise, you can register online, shirleycrawford.com. We'll see you there, divas.
Life can be a struggle. Find hope, healing, and answers at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place to encounter God through uplifting worship, singing, prayer, the preach word, and fellowship. One step can change your life. One step could shift your destiny. There has never been a better time to take that step than now. Come be our guest every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place where you belong.
In honor of the Women's Business Center RVA 5-year anniversary, the countdown is on. Ladies, it's time for the WBC RVA Toolkit starting in October. You don't want to miss it. It means every Thursday you co-work not for free, but it's included. So that's co-working every Thursday. Each month there's one seminar and one group coaching. So all day Thursday you can come hang out here at the Women's Business Center RVA, and it's just $25 a month. Tell them about it, Joanne.
And a couple of the topics that we will be talking about, discussing and reviewing and going through are starting a business the right way, because we do want to start off the right way. We're also going to talk about a business model canvas and how your company creates value for its customers. Also goal setting, which is very important. Finances, even developing your pitch, also social media distribution and content, and much, much more. So we are excited about seeing you there. So you can register today at wbcrva.com.
See you in October. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We love the fact that this show gets to bring you all kinds of information like Lawrence and sharing everything about your financial preparedness. Today, we've been talking about your business emergency preparedness because there's so many things, we know it, there's so many things that can go wrong. It doesn't take much for a tree to fall through your window. In this day and age, it doesn't take that much for there to be an active shooter. I'm sorry. It's sad, but it's true. How are you prepared? So I want to talk about developing your business emergency plan, but I also want to share a couple of resources that you should be looking into or considering. They're obvious. They're obvious, but there are a lot of paid options as well. With regards to your physical safety, you really should consider reaching out to your local fire department. They will help you get smoke detectors, help you consider an emergency evacuation plan, but also your local police department. So in case of active shooter, which I hate the fact that that is such a reality in this day and age, that people, and especially with the mental health crisis that we're having, that people aren't managing their anger. They're not managing their emotions and feelings in the way that would keep us all safe. So we have to make sure that we are prepared. So with that in mind, reaching out to your local police department, they actually have individuals who can come over and share with you active shooter training. There are companies that train it as well. My church has done it several times. It's something that any organization where you are gathering people together should make sure that you're prepared for whatever the emergency might be. So on that note, here are 8 steps that these were created by Chase, and I wanted to share them with you all. And you can, of course, adapt them to your business. But the idea is when you need it, it's too late to make it. You need to already have a plan, a game plan created in advance so that no matter the situation, you're ready to go. So things you want to consider: anticipate your predominant risk. So you know the neighborhood you're in, you know the city that you're in, you know the area that you're in, you know if you all are subject to flooding, you know if you all are subject to, creative behavior by individuals. You know a lot of things about your area just because you live there. So assess the risks and create an idea of how you're going to address those issues. You know, for cybersecurity, that you have a location and you have computers everywhere, that all the employees have laptops and they're all out everywhere. Everyone's using it. You need to prepare for that. Cybersecurity issues are real. And so disasters can be cybersecurity, they can be natural, whatever they may be. Come up with a plan to figure out how you're going to address that. Okay. Identify your company's top priorities. No matter what business you're in, your top priority should be your people. You can assess whatever you need to, but the people should be the first thing, because you can rebuild that computer, you can rebuild whatever else, but people are irreplaceable, period. So that should be your number one plan: the safety of your employees, the safety of your suppliers, the safety of your clients. Like, you want to make sure you have a game plan for that clear. So as we said before, and as they're stating here, have clear plans for evacuation, sheltering in place if that is appropriate, longer term plans to help support your community. I love it. It's goodwill for your business, but it's really goodwill for your soul when you really think beyond your bottom line. I love the fact that over here, Christina with the Imagine Media Lab is always looking for our next project of where we're going to donate clothes or time or volunteer or whatever it's going to be. That should be at the heart of your business. So if there is an emergency like we just finished having, literally, tropical storms, different people have flooding, there's so much that happened. And I'm fortunate and grateful that the most that happened for us was there was a big tree branch that fell down. It didn't even hurt anything. But what about your neighbors? Do you have a community plan of assistance to help? If not, it's a good time to think about that as well. Have a secure backup solution. That's number 3. So that means storing and backing all essential data. If you want to use the cloud, fine. But the bottom line is you really should have an offsite location. So I'm here in Virginia, then more than likely Kansas isn't having the same set of issues that I'm having here. Don't know if Kansas is where you want to have it, but there should be some other location where things are backed up. That we talked about the safe, putting things on the cloud if you want to. I am a very large proponent for external hard drives. And so the reason is if something happens, and so like there's a test we always do to determine like what's really important to you. If a fire broke out right now, what are you grabbing? That's telling you the things that are of your highest priority. Outside of getting my people out the building and getting me out too, this is one of the first things that I'm grabbing. So this one here, I think is just 2 terabytes. It's not huge. Yeah. Just 2 terabytes on this one. But that's enough to back up your computer several times over. And so whatever's on there, I'm not a cloud person, so I'd like to have an external hard drive that I can snatch, grab, and go. Or if you're using USB or whatever the case may be, if you're using the cloud, we always talk about, like I said before, they mentioned about having a tamper-proof, fire-proof safe, something that can survive the bad weather. Those are some of the options of things. So have a secure backup plan, and then develop your plan. So another tool that you can possibly use is FEMA. They have all kinds of emergency preparation programs and information, natural disaster toolkits, all kinds of information that you can utilize, and know that the devil's in the details. It's really important to really think through what do you need, what's important, because in the time of emergency, most of us are like, we're not thinking calmly, coolly, and collectively. So if you already know that all I have to do in case of emergency, I just have to get my people, let them know what's happening, grab my external hard drive. We're all going to take the stairs, not the elevator, because elevators run on electricity and have a tendency of getting stuck. And so we know the game plan. We're all going to meet by the 2nd floor because that's our secure. Whatever the plan is, you want to establish it. Okay, this might not have been our sexiest day, but we want to make sure we have a safe day. We want to make sure that your business is safe and protected no matter what the emergency, no matter what the crisis, so that the other test we do is if you get hit by a bus, what happens to your business? It sounds terrible, but that's why we have insurance. That's why we look into these plans. And I want your business to last longer than you, well beyond any natural disaster, well beyond any cyber hacking or anything else might happen. Okay. So with that in mind, as we always love to say, live better, do better, be better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. 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 Thanks for tuning in to WorkHARDaholics. Support our show by following on YouTube and all major social media platforms at WorkHARDaholic. Until next week, happy entrepreneuring.